Part 29. The fake daughter can be either salty or sweet. Author, Wu Zizai. Chapter 281. Chapter 281. This character is given to you. Han Sui was shocked. What is going on? Yang Zizi also felt tired, threw Han Sui away, and said grandly, this role is given to you. The corners of Han Sui's mouth rose. Although she couldn't vent her anger for her cousin, at least all these scenes were filmed by the reporters she arranged. When the time comes, they would be edited and adapted into another story. Wouldn't it be even more interesting? Her Yang Zizi's personality has collapsed. Let's see how she can survive in the entertainment industry in the future. Humph, you are still a little too young to fight with me. Suddenly, a young man with a shining body passed by her, and Han Sui was stunned. This is so handsome. There are so many amazing faces in the entertainment industry, of all types, but this face gives her the feeling of being in love. No, he wants him to be the leading actor in this drama. Hello. Han Sui put down the eldest lady and took the initiative to greet 11 Jin. 11 Jin naturally heard someone greeting him, but the sound disgusted him. He walked straight away without even looking at the other person. He didn't even mean to stop for half a second, and directly ignored Han Sui to the Pacific Ocean. Went. Han Sui felt that this made her very humiliated, so she stood on the spot and stamped her feet to vent. Who is that? She asked the frightened director next to her. The director also answered her patiently and helplessly, Miss Yang Zizi's bodyguard. He was really reluctant to pay attention to Han Sui. If it weren't for her, the show would have started filming smoothly, and she had to come in and get involved. As for the heroine's position, it seems that this filming will be difficult. After all, the heroine is now Han Sui, who has a princess disease. She can't be scolded, and she even has to support her like an ancestor. What? Yang Zizi, that dead girl's bodyguard. Han Sui was shocked again. It's really abominable. How come he is everywhere? Do you have his contact information? Han Sui asked. No. Trash. Han Sui glanced at him sideways and cursed angrily. Seeing that Yang Zizi hadn't gone far, Han Sui ran over, took Yang Zizi's hand, and pretended to be cute. Zizi, I was also the fastest just now. You also know that I am an outspoken person. It is inevitable that someone will say the wrong thing. Can you forgive me? We are still good friends. Han Sui took Yang Zizi's hand and shook it, as if she was very familiar with her. Yang Zizi looked disgusted and really wanted to slap her away. What on earth is this woman playing? She glanced at Han Sui, then at 11 Jin, who was standing aside, and immediately realized the reason why Han Sui changed his attitude toward her so quickly. It turned out that 11 Jin was attracted to 11 Jin. 11 Jin was unlucky to be targeted by this eldest lady. He probably would not have a good life in the future. If he had known better, he should have made him look ugly. Miss Han was cursing just now, but now she's like a dog hugging her thigh. Yang Zizi didn't take her at all. It was indeed a superb acting skill, and you couldn't see any flaws. When Han Sui was about to lose her temper, she carefully glanced at 11 Jin aside, and finally endured it and said, I was just ignorant, sister, please don't be angry. This title is getting more and more outrageous. Just now, I was calling her a friend. Who is your friend? Now it's better. I just call her sister. It seems that this eldest lady has some misunderstanding about the title. Yang Zizi pulled her hand away with a look of disgust on his face. End of this chapter. The fake daughter can be either salty or sweet. Author, Wu Zizai. Chapter 282. Chapter 282. Being hacked. The innocent 11 Jin really thought that Yang Zizi had made a good friend on the set. Just when he was relieved, he realized that it was not the case. Han Sui was unwilling to give in and wanted to move forward, but was intercepted by 11 Jin. Miss, Please stay away from our house, otherwise you will spend the first half of your life in the hospital. 11 Jin reminded kindly. Her tone was gentle and not lethal, but the words she used made Han Sui panic. Although his tone was gentle, it didn't look like he was telling lies, let alone joking. Han Sui took a few steps back very wisely. Han Sui glanced at 11 Jin and then lowered her head. She wanted to say something but her whole face turned red and she didn't know how to speak. When she looked up at him again, the two people in front of her had long disappeared. When Yang Zizi returned home, he found that his news had been on several hot searches. Yang Zizi green tea. Yang Zizi's character collapsed. Yang Zizi is jealous of Han Sui. The hot search opportunities are all about her and Han Sui. Major media outlets went crazy and wrote many lengthy articles. Attached to the video of the conflict with Han Sui on the set today. The video was edited maliciously, and it was replaced with Yang Zizi saying bad words to Han Sui because he was jealous of her, and even did not hesitate to do it. On Weibo, there are tens of millions or even hundreds of millions of comments insulting Yang Zizi and asking her to quit the entertainment industry as soon as possible. Yang Zizi looked at these hot searches, news and comments from netizens, but he didn't take it seriously and didn't intend to clarify anything. Damn, these brainless humans. 11 Jin was the first to get into a commotion and really wanted to block these accounts. Don't interfere, this is my business. Yang Zizi reminded 11 Jin that she knew that 11 Jin was impatient and would expose his identity if he was not careful, and it would not end well. But don't worry, since you want to protect me, just listen to me. 11 Jin had no choice but to agree not to interfere. But just 1 minute later, the news, blogs, comments, etc. about this video all disappeared in an instant, as if they were blinded and saw it wrong. Who on earth could delete hundreds of millions of news comments and comments on Weibo in such a short period of time? This approach is simply incredible. She suddenly found that there were dozens of missed calls on her mobile phone. She was the director of the company. Because he couldn't get through the phone, he sent her a message. Mr. Yang, it's not good, the company's stock is falling seriously. Judging from this, the director, who wanted to say something later, saw the reversal on the internet before he could say it in time. Mr. Yang, something magical happened. Our company's stock suddenly rose rapidly again. It was like riding a roller coaster. Yang Zizi looked at this huge reversal calmly. Someone must be helping her secretly. What kind of company is Tianyu? It is a leading agency in the entertainment industry. Its artists are all on the front line, and they hold both power and power. As for this video, Han Sui must have deliberately posted it online to ruin her reputation. Who is it that openly goes against Tianyu? Yang Zizi glanced at 11 Jin next to him, lowered his eyes and thought carefully. It must not be him. If it were him, he wouldn't be so anxious just now. End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The fake daughter can be either salty or sweet. Author, Wu Zizai. Chapter 283. Chapter 283. What a bad luck. What are you thinking about? 11 Jin dangled in front of Yang Zizi and looked at her and asked. Yang Zizi lowered his head and said, I'm wondering why these public opinions disappeared in a second, and even my company's stock rose sharply after falling. That means your fan base is great. Look at you, you are so good looking, and you can tell at a glance that you won't do such a thing. 11 Jin looked half joking. Yang Zizi glanced at him lightly. She was talking to him about serious matters, but he actually looked playful and smiling. 11 Jin put away his smile and analyzed it calmly, but for a long time he didn't know the reason. Yang Zizi suddenly had an idea flash in his mind. Could it be Mu Shinai? He appeared quietly, perhaps hiding next to himself. But, thinking about it carefully, It didn't make sense. She hadn't smelled anything about him for so long, so she quickly rejected the idea. After the scandal, no one seemed to take it seriously, and no one seemed to have seen it and regarded it as a dream. The comment on the internet about the role change in this new drama is that her schedule is full and she has no time to film this drama. This response seems a bit unreasonable. Everyone knows that she, Yang Zizi, only chooses one script a year. However, this drama has been officially announced, and a launching ceremony was held. It even started filming for a day, and she actually said that she was not in the middle. The period has expired. This is not treating the audience as human beings. They made up such low-level and false reasons. This Tianyu really sacrificed her IQ for the sake of her eldest lady. The key point is that these brainless netizens really believe it. They still believe the thing about having no nose or eyes. Yang Zizi is also a Buddhist. Since it has passed, let it pass, as long as it does not affect her high quality of life. When she woke up, her desk was piled with scripts again, and major directors were calling her one after another. She does not seem to be affected by the dirty information, and her resources are still so abundant. It just seems that there is no copy produced by Tianyu. It doesn't matter. Yang Zizi randomly picked a mythological drama. Changping is the largest film and television city in the world, with at least hundreds of film crews shooting here every year. Since Changping is far away from home, it is not particularly convenient to go back and forth. Yang Zizi directly asked for a half-year leave from school, packed his luggage and moved into Changping. As a bodyguard, 11 Jin naturally accompanied him. What Yang Zizi never expected was that the row opposite the hotel arranged by the crew was the crew of Tianyu, that is, Han Sui's crew. What a coincidence is that Han Sui's hotel suite is right opposite Yang Zizi's suite. 11 Jin was walking behind Yang Zizi with his luggage. When Yang Zizi was about to swipe the room card to open the door opposite suddenly opened. It's true that there are narrow paths between enemies. Han Sui recognized Yang Zizi at a glance, glanced at her from top to bottom, and said contemptuously. Yang Zizi turned around and killed with another look, instantly making Han Sui become more obedient. What a bad luck, I have to change rooms. Han Sui pretended to be calm and composed, and shook her head arrogantly to leave. When she saw 11 Jin carrying 2 luggages and 1 suitcase and several bags in his hands, her heart immediately filled with pink bubbles. Oh my God, he's so handsome and awesome. Han Sui brushed her hair behind her ears, pretending to be reserved, walked up to him, stretched out her hand, and showed what she thought was the sweetest smile. Hello, my name is Han Sui. Her voice was particularly sweet, but when you hear it, you can tell it's an act. End of this chapter. The fake daughter can be either salty or sweet. Author, Wu Zizai. Chapter 284. Chapter 284, Pretend to be more like me. 11 Jin naturally knows how to be polite, but he has no free hands. Even if he did, he wouldn't be able to shake hands with her just to show his politeness. What a bad luck. 11 Jin snorted and walked around her, only to find that Yang Zizi had already opened the door and entered. If you don't come in, I'll close the door. Yang Zizi ran out of patience. Come on, 11 Jin ran in instantly and put down his luggage easily. Yang Zizi was about to close the door when suddenly a white and tender hand pressed against the door. Miss Han, what's the matter? Yang Zizi's eyes were sharp. Han Sui didn't dare to look directly into her eyes. He always felt that there was an indescribable sense of fear in her eyes. Why are you alone in the same room with the door closed? What do you want to do? Han Sui asked Yang Zizi, but her eyes glanced at 11 Jin inside from time to time. Miss Han, if you are interested, you can come in. Just when Han Sui was about to move towards 11 Jin, Yang Zizi suddenly said, but the entry and exit fee is 10 billion. Yang Zizi opened his mouth. Yang Zizi, you are crazy about money, you are a vain woman, Han Sui cursed angrily. If you can't afford it, don't stand in the eyes of others. It's bad luck. Yang Zizi returned the two words he just said to her intact. What are you talking about? You dare to say that I am unlucky? I am the eldest daughter of Tianyu. If you offend me, there will be no good consequences for you. Yang Zizi smiled disapprovingly and didn't pay much attention to this nonsense. He really didn't want to continue with this nonsense. It would only be a waste of time and saliva. She was about to close the door again, but Han Sui suddenly put her foot on the door angrily. Yang Zizi was also angry and instantly pinched her Adam's apple, making her unable to breathe. Han Sui, in front of me, you'd better be a good boy and pretend to be decent, otherwise I won't need to leave you the last bit of dignity. Yang Zizi's voice was extremely cold. Stinging. Han Sui's body was trembling slightly. She could feel that her strength was simply amazing. She couldn't make any sound. She only knew that if she used more force or pinched her for 3 more seconds, she would suffocate. He died, but Yang Zizi was like a murderous demon and didn't care at all. After 2 seconds, Yang Zizi finally let her go. She was now carrying her baby in her belly, and the baby in her belly was watching all this with her own eyes. She didn't want to leave a bad influence on the baby. I don't want him to see so much that he shouldn't see at such a young age. His childhood should be the best. Go away, don't let me see you again. In order to escape, Han Sui naturally had to choose Tao Xiaoyao. After stumbling, she finally found the direction, opened her suite, and got in instantly, closing the door tightly as if to save her life. She fell to the ground powerlessly, leaning against the door, breathing heavily, almost losing her breath. Yang Zizi. She shouted this name in her heart with extreme anger. In her entire life, this is the first time someone has dared to attack her openly. She will never let go of this debt. Yang Zizi. Just wait for me. I, Miss Tianyu, can't deal with a little girl like you. End of this chapter. The fake daughter can be either salty or sweet. Author, Wu Zizai. Chapter 285. Chapter 285. Learn to grow up. How about I help you find a hotel again? It's best to book the whole hotel. 11 Jin was not joking. He looked at Yang Zizi with a serious look on his face. There's no need to go to great lengths. Everyone here is so busy that they won't notice me. Besides, this child is growing up day by day and has become much more peaceful in the past few days, Yang Zizi said as he made the bed. 11 Jin couldn't talk to Yang Zizi, so he had to listen to him first. Aren't you leaving? Yang Zizi glanced at 11 Jin, who was watching her make the bed blankly. Where to go? 11 Jin looked confused and cued. Yang Zizi pointed to the next door with his chin, and 11 Jin shamelessly insisted on following him. He had no choice but to agree, and even asked the director to specially arrange the apartment next door for 11 Jin to live in. This treatment was simply that of a first-line male star. You know, this entire hotel is so luxurious that it limits people's imagination. Every suite is occupied by first-tier celebrities. It seems that second-tier and lower-tier celebrities are not allowed to stay in this kind of hotel. Don't you want me to help you clean up? 11 Jin asked. Although Yang Zizi tried to do everything by herself in the past year, he was very pleased that she was no longer the little girl who couldn't even take care of herself. She is a girl, she is learning to grow up and how to be a good mother. However, he still felt sour in his heart. There were many things that he no longer needed. Even being his bodyguard was just a decoration. She was the daughter of a vampire and an angel. She was not as powerful as a werewolf like him. But, he just wanted to stay by her side, and he was satisfied if he could see her every moment. Let's go. Yang Zizi glanced at 11 Jin, who had been looking at him blankly, and urged. 11 Jin lowered his head and lowered his eyes. Then if you need anything, remember to call me. I am now your bodyguard and assistant. The shooting won't start until tomorrow. You can have a good rest tonight. Yang Zizi finally made the bed. 11 Jin nodded intentionally or unintentionally. He opened the door, and the door opposite also opened at the same time. 11 Jin didn't notice Han Suya, but Han Suya noticed him instantly. 11 Jin closed the door with his backhand and was about to lift his legs to leave when a person suddenly appeared in front of him, which startled him. It turns out that vampires, demons, and werewolves are not the only ones to be scared of, even humans are so scary. I'm actually a colleague of Yang Zizi. I heard that you are his bodyguard. If you are willing, I can pay 1,000 times the price. Han Suya said a little shyly. But before she could finish speaking, 11 Jin walked around her and walked away. Han Suya shamelessly ran over and blocked his way again. 11 Jin lowered his eyes and glanced at Han Suya, but he didn't see what he looked like. He only saw her hair that was dyed lavender. 11 Jin raised his head, as if he was very impatient. If there was a man opposite him, he would definitely use force to deal with it without hesitation, but in front of him was a thin and frail woman. Get out of the way. 11 Jin's voice was extremely impatient, and his two beautiful eyebrows were about to frown together. What Han Suya wanted to say was suppressed by his aura, and she felt extremely wronged for a moment. There were countless handsome guys around him, all of them top-notch, and they pursued her relentlessly, but she was the only one who wanted to say it. He really likes her, but he ignores her. Her aggrieved eyes were filled with tears, like a bullied kitten, afraid to move. End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The fake daughter can be either salty or sweet. Author, Wu Zizai. Chapter 286. Chapter 286 Praising. 11 Jin is even more disgusted with her. Stepping forward sideways, he opened the door, walked in, and closed the door with his backhand. The sound of Peng brought Han Suya back to reality instantly. She looked at the closed door, held back her tears, and bit her lip. She, Miss Tianyu, had never failed to get what she wanted, and this time, it would be no exception. Han Suya came to the KTV downstairs, in private room 333. More than a dozen good-looking men and women were singing and dancing together. Under the colorful flashing lights, it was so exciting. When everyone saw Han Suya walking in, they immediately stopped the lively atmosphere and gave up their seats to Han Suya. Yaya, what's wrong with you? Who bullied you? The second male lead who worked with Han Suya could tell at a glance that Han Suya seemed to have something on her mind. It's not because of that girl Yang Zizi, she actually strangled me and almost strangled me to death. Han Suya's face turned red with anger and she touched her neck. There were still fingerprints and even a faint pain. It also made her Adam's apple very uncomfortable. This Yang Zizi has gone too far. He did such a thing just because he became famous overnight. It's just that on the surface, he is a pure and pleasant person, but he didn't expect to be so vicious behind the scenes. The people who echoed Han Suya's words were the main actors of Han Suya's crew. Because of Han Suya's status, they naturally had to get close to her, stand on the same line with her, and also flatter her and do everything she asked. I hope I can seize this golden chain and let them gain a firm foothold in the entertainment industry. After all, there are quite a few actors who are out of action now. As long as you climb this golden chain and have a good relationship with her, it will only be a matter of time before you enter TNU. Becoming famous overnight is no longer a dream. In this entertainment industry, many stars who have not yet become famous are obedient to Han Suya in order to enter TNU, and they even give up their last dignity to fawn. You guys, use your experience of playing vicious female supporting characters in many movies, and make sure Yang Zizi is embarrassed in front of all the crew, and you also need to find more media to come over. This time, I don't believe she can still do it. Just as lucky as last time. Yaya, what should I do for you? The actor Shen Jie, who played the second male lead, looked at Han Sui intently, his eyes full of respect. Han Sui glanced at Shen Jie with contempt, a bit overestimating her abilities. Despite this, he still accepted this look of disdain. After all, people look down on him based on his strength. Go and get close to Yang Zizi's bodyguard, get to know him well, and then ask for his contact information. This bodyguard seems to be difficult to deal with, so it takes a lot of time and energy. Yang Zizi's bodyguard, Shen Jie looked puzzled. When did he become interested in the people around Yang Zizi, and why did he need contact information? Yaya, are you trying to? Shen Jie didn't dare to be too lenient because he was afraid that Han Sui would be angry with him, but his curiosity finally made him on the verge of committing suicide. Can't I have a bodyguard? Han Sui glared at him, making Shen Jie immediately become obedient. Yaya, don't think about that bad girl, let's sing a chorus. The actress who plays the female supporting role handed the microphone to Han Sui, and the smile on her face was fake at first glance. Han Sui sneered, "You are the only one who deserves to sing a duet with me." This face was very unfamiliar in her memory. It seemed to be a new artist. End of this chapter. The fake daughter can be either salty or sweet. Author, Wu Zizai. Chapter 287. Chapter 287, Black fans attack our artist. The smile on the female supporting character's face froze, and she held the microphone a little harder. The filming started early the next morning. During the break, I suddenly heard several actors and actresses whispering, as if they were talking about who was on the crew next door. Finally, the excited group went to visit the set next door. They must be celebrities of the national goddess and male level. They were so excited that they were probably asking for autographs. Yang Zizi glanced to the side inadvertently. Han Sui? He, she almost forgot, this is the largest film and television city in the country, so it is not surprising to meet their crew here. It's just that the person standing opposite her seems to be 11 Jin. This guy, as her bodyguard, actually started chatting with other girls. What's even more outrageous is that the person he was chatting with was Han Sui. But judging from the slight expression on 11 Jin's face, he must be very impatient, while Han Sui was still chattering non-stop, not paying attention to the other person's feelings at all. She finally understood that Han Sui must have fallen in love with 11 Jin. No, she has to help 11 Jin get out of this big trouble. If 11 Jin is really with her, it would be a sin. Yang Zizi started dialing 11 Jin's phone number. "Hey, where are you?" Yang Zizi looked in his direction, winked at him, and asked him to find an excuse to escape. 11 Jin also saw Yang Zizi, his brain changed, and he quickly said, "The anti-fans are besieging our artist, I have to them." Han Sui looked in the direction he was running and happened to see Yang Zizi making a call on his mobile phone, and stamped his feet angrily. Yang Zizi hadn't hung up the phone yet, and he was really going to be off when he heard 11 Jin's stupid reason. This film and television city requires a work permit to enter. How could there be any anti-fans breaking in? Huh, it's good to have you, otherwise I would have beaten a woman. 11 Jin ran to Yang Zizi, as if he was frightened. She seems to like you. Yang Zizi looked at 11 Jin with the expression of a melon-eating crowd, and then motioned for him to look away. 11 Jin turned around to look, and Han Sui immediately jumped up and waved to him, thinking he was looking for her. "Zizi, don't get me wrong, I'm not interested in these brainless humans." 11 Jin thought he had misunderstood him. "Oh," Yang Zizi nodded perfunctorily. "There is a night scene today, and the shooting didn't end until 3 in the morning." Yang Zizi changed out of costume in the RV and went back to the hotel to rest. She never thought that there would be several women surrounding her in the RV. Yang Zizi smiled scornfully, they were just minions and she didn't take them to heart at all. She continued to lock the door of the RV calmly, turned around and ignored them, and was about to leave. Several girls stood in front of her as if they wanted to oppose her, and they looked very arrogant. A good dog stays out of the way. You talk arrogantly and don't know your own abilities. One of the leading girls started to curse and was about to take action. But somehow, she was suddenly thrown far away by an invisible force, and fell heavily to the ground, making the sound of broken bones. When the other girls saw her end, they immediately stopped and even thought about retreating. Tell Hanswaya, just this once, otherwise, I will make her lie in the hospital for the rest of her life. She naturally knows these people. Weren't they the ones who fawned around Hanswaya during the filming yesterday? Either they were sent by Hanswaya to express her bad temper, or they wanted to claim credit in front of Hanswaya. End of this chapter. The fake daughter can be either salty or sweet. Author, Wu Zizai. Chapter 288. Chapter 288. I can go a little further. The girls looked at each other in confusion for several seconds, and finally withdrew. Yang Zizi returned to the hotel and the elevator reached the 11th floor. When she was about to open the door to the suite, she suddenly found an A4 paper taped to the door, with the words "Green tea bitch, mistress, shameless" written on it. There was even a pool of red blood on the ground. In fact, it was not real blood, it was just tomato juice. Yang Zizi closed his eyes, and the scene of the scene came into his mind. She sighed softly. Sure enough, only a person like Hanswaya with extremely low EQ and IQ could do this little trick. She knocked on the door opposite, but there was no response at all. She must have been asleep at this moment, and she could still hear her knocking. Even if she heard it, she would pretend not to hear it. Yang Zizi knocked once and then knocked a second time without the patience, and directly knocked the door to the ground. Hanswaya, who was preparing to watch the excitement in the room, suddenly heard the sound of the door falling to the ground and was really startled. She walked out of the room slowly and cautiously, and suddenly saw Yang Zizi standing outside the door, and the door had fallen to the ground in pieces. How could she have so much strength? If she had known, he would have asked Shanyo to come over and block the door. Come out, Yang Zizi's voice was extremely cold. What are you doing? Hanswaya shrank in the corner and trembled slightly. Without saying a word, Yang Zizi teleported to Hanswaya's side, grabbed her collar and dragged her to the door of Yang Zizi's suite. Hanswaya was so stiff that she didn't dare to move. She just felt a gust of wind blowing by, but she didn't expect to be outside the door in the blink of an eye. Hanswaya didn't dare to look at her, she was afraid of ghosts. Tear it up and eat it, Yang Zizi didn't show any mercy to the other party. She suddenly thought that she was the eldest lady of Tianyu, how could she suffer such humiliation, and she suddenly became majestic. As soon as Hanswaya opened her mouth, a paper dumpling had already entered her mouth. When she was about to spit it out, however, Yang Zizi pinched her chin tightly and filled her mouth with water with her other hand. Ahem, Hanswaya choked, and the A4 paper was accidentally swallowed by her. No matter how much she coughed, it was useless. Yang Zizi threw the water to the ground and said domineeringly, "Lick all this tomato juice clean for me." Yang Zizi, don't go too far. I can go a little further. Hanswaya pointed at her angrily, and Yang Zizi reached out and pressed the back of her head. The pressure on the back of her head was huge, forcing her to kneel on the ground, with her face pressed straight to the ground. My nose is already covered in tomato juice. The taste of tomato juice started to taste in my mouth. No matter how hard she struggled, it had no effect. Yang Zizi's endless strength completely held her tightly, leaving no chance for her to move. Yaya, hearing the voice, Shen Zhe quickly ran back, thinking that a hero would save the beauty, and his road to stardom would be smooth from then on. Let him go, Shen Che raised his fist and was about to hit Yang Zizi. Without any warning, Yang Zizi grabbed his neck with one hand. His face turned pale after being pinched, and his body felt so light that he felt like he was going to in the next second. The child in the belly made a slight movement, seeming to be watching the excitement. Yang Zizi glanced down at his belly, and finally shook off Shenche and let go of Han Sui. End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The fake daughter can be either salty or sweet. Author, Wu Zizai. Chapter 289. Chapter 289 Conquest. Lick this place clean for me, Yang Zizi said, opening the door and slamming it shut with his backhand. He calmly took a shower as if nothing happened, and then entered the room to prepare for bed. When 11 Jin rushed to the 11th floor, Yang Zizi solved everything neatly. She is indeed his beloved. On the second day, Yang Zizi was woken up by the sound of push messages on her mobile phone. She only had night scenes today, so she could rest during the day. She didn't even bother to open her eyes, picked up the mobile phone on the bedside table, opened it and took a casual look. Han Sui was finally conquered. After taking a look at the title, I put down my phone and went back to sleep. The network was paralyzed again, and Yang Zizi occupied the top search list for a whole day and night. The number of reads, comments, and retweets and likes broke the highest record ever. At 12 o'clock, Yang Zizi stretched his legs, little did he know that he was the hottest topic in the world. She went to the bathroom to wash up, only to find 11 Jin sitting in the living room watching something again. She was so excited that she frequently said, "He's so handsome." "What's so cool?" Yang Zizi walked over and asked as if he was joining in the fun. 11 Jin raised his head and met Yang Zizi's curious baby face. Sure enough, what the netizens said is right, it can be salty or sweet, and it can be eaten by both men and women. Yesterday, the video of you teaching Han Sui a lesson was posted online by the hotel's surveillance system. Now your video is going viral all over the internet, and now netizens are calling you husband one by one. Yang Zizi didn't take it seriously, turned around and went to the bathroom to wash up. After this video was exposed, Han Sui also restrained herself a lot. Some people already couldn't get used to the way she made enemies everywhere by relying on her status as the eldest lady of Tianyu. However, no matter what her identity is, they couldn't get used to it anymore. You have to pretend to be fawning, after all, in the entertainment industry, who wants to be banned? And this video has made most of the entertainment industry happy. For several days, Han Sui did not appear in front of the public again. The filming of the new drama was also delayed, and the crew evacuated overnight. This drama is progressing very quickly, and the filming was completed in less than half a month. Just a few days after Yang Zizi returned home, the little one seemed to be making some noise. He rubbed his little hands and feet against her belly as if he was anxious to come out. Suddenly, the pain in the lower abdomen became more and more severe, and the little guy moved more and more violently. 11 Jin arrived quickly, and in desperation she just wanted to go to the hospital. "Which hospital are you going to?" Yang Zizi couldn't help scolding him. "What are you doing standing around? Get out." This elm-headed man still wants to see her give birth to a child. Then, can you do it alone? 11 Jin was at a loss and didn't know what to do. "You have to do it even if you don't want to. Get out quickly and close the door." She endured the strong pain in her abdomen. She has the memory of her mother giving birth to her. At that time, her mother also gave birth to her alone, without anyone's help. 11 Jin, who was waiting anxiously in the living room, was really restless. Hearing Yang Zizi's shouts, he wanted to rush in again and again, but what could he do even if he went in? He could only sit in the corner, force himself to calm down, and wait slowly. "Lunchenchi. You bastard, if I see you, I will definitely kill you." 11 Jin cursed all the 18 generations of his ancestors in his heart. End of this chapter. The fake daughter can be either salty or sweet. Author, Wu Zizai. Chapter 290. Chapter 290 Envoy. Not long after, the clear baby's cry resounded throughout the sky. Hearing the sound, he knew that he was a very healthy child. 11 Jin rushed in excitement. Yang Zizi was lying on the bed with a pale face, and his emaciated appearance made 11 Jin feel extremely distressed. But her eyes were full of brilliance and tenderness. Zizi, he called her softly, but he only had eyes for this child. He also lowered his head and glanced at the child. He was a white, tender, and clean little boy with two sharp little fangs exposed. Like Yang Zizi, he had a pair of black and white wings. He was small and unbearable. I can't help but feel pity. Give the child a name, 11 Jin reminded. Just call me Xiao Qiao. Yang Zizi tilted his head and thought for 3 seconds before casually picking out the name. Little Angel, it sounded strange to pronounce, but he could taste the meaning. This child had the blood of angels, so he was naturally a member of the angel family. What about the famous name? 11 Jin asked again. General, Yang Zizi said these two words lightly, and her mind couldn't help but think of Lun Chenchi's face that made her have ever-changing emotions. She has given birth to the child safely, so the next thing she has to face and do is to meet the child's biological father. Little angel, you belong to your mother alone. She patted the little angel gently. Zizi, 11 Jin began to feel uneasy. From now on, I will ask you to take care of the little envoy. Zizi, what do you want to do? I want to avenge my brothers. She has been enduring this hatred in her heart for a long time. Zizi, do you have to take revenge? He naturally knew in his heart that Yang Zizi hated Yang Lun to the bone, but he also loved her to the bone. But he went to the vampire clan alone, and it was still unknown whether he could come back. Zizi, it's too dangerous. So what? I have to kill him to avenge my brothers. She held her hands tightly, and her nails dug into her flesh without even noticing. Suddenly, the loud cry of the baby nearby sounded. Yang Zizi regained his emotions this time and comforted the child. After he fell asleep, he and 11 Jin came to the living room. Zizi, if you insist on revenge, I will go and kill Lun Chenchi. You are stupid. You are going to die. What's more, even if you kill Lun Chenchi, will the blood clan let you wolf family go? After all, you have broken the rules between you and the blood clan. 11 Jin didn't think too much. Doing this would indeed affect the wolf clan, but he didn't want to see Yang Zizi take risks. It doesn't matter, my people can deal with the vampire clan. 11 Jin still insisted on going to the vampire clan to kill Lun Chenchi for Yang Zizi. But who doesn't know that compared to the vampire tribe, the wolf tribe is still inferior? And 11 Jin, in front of the woman he loves deeply, everything else is nothing. I just want you to help me take good care of the little envoy. Yang Zizi looked at him and said. But. Stop it, I promise you that I will come back safely. No matter what, I am also the biological daughter of the former vampire king of the vampire clan and a princess of the vampire clan. They will not kill their own kind. Under Yang Zizi's various persuasion, 11 Jin had no choice but to compromise. Then when will you go? Tomorrow. Then when will you come back? Yang Zizi shook his head. I don't know. If you don't come back within 2 days, I will definitely rush into the vampire clan to save you. End of this chapter.